Good morning, good morning, good morning. Roll Tide for me. I'm Lucian Graves of the Final Whistle Network, your host of the Saturday AM Scramble. We got a lot of exciting football to talk about this morning, ladies and gentlemen. As I wait for my co host, we can get into what happened last night in West Virginia in the BYU game. It was a close one, well fought. Looks like BYU ended up pulling it out 38 at home to West Virginia's 24 on the road. That drops West Virginia to 2-4. BYU moves on to 5-0. I think we had this game. We didn't really talk much about BYU this season, but they're obviously coming on into their own in the Big 12. Obviously, that was a big conference game, so it's going to be interesting to see how the other big games in the Big 12 shake out today. There's some other ones we're going to talk about later on the show as I'm joined by my guys. But as we do that, we're going to recap some football last week. I got one guy on. So I'm going to bring one of my hosts on, good friend of mine, good buddy of mine. We have a lot of fun doing this show. Mike, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Sorry, I was having some trouble with my mic, but we're good now.
It seems to be the season for that because Mike's have been giving everybody a problem on pretty much every show I've been involved with lately. So not sure what's going on with the technology, but I don't know. Oh,
we're here now.
So let's do a little quick recap last week before we jump into this week. Eric's going to be a little bit late. He's got some stuff going on, but he's going to be joining us. So I figured we could do a rundown of some big games that we were talking about last week, especially with you leaving. So what were your thoughts of coming off of last week, the big games that we talked about? Obviously, the big major upsets, Alabama getting Georgia, Oregon getting Penn State. So what do you got? Thoughts?
Well, this is becoming a thing with Alabama. They get out to a big lead against Georgia, and then Georgia comes back, and Alabama holds on, but it looks scary. And that's now what happened 2 years in a row. So congratulations to you and the Tide. That was a big win last week. But it was weird that, that the scoring just shut down after halftime. That was the Georgia. It seems like once Georgia figured it out, they were really able to, to stop Alabama. But by then, you guys had built up a big lead. You had gotten out to such a nice start. So good scheming by Kalen DeBoer. I think he caught Kirby with his pants down a little bit early in that game.
Definitely.
But then after halftime, it was a defensive struggle. It was a slugfest. So I thought it was a really good win for Alabama. I know a lot of people picked Georgia to win that game, but the Tide, they did what they had to do and they won, and I thought that was big. And then go ahead.
Oh no, keep going.
I was gonna say, and then the egg is on my face because I picked James Franklin to win a big game, and I should know better by now.
I think you even said this at the beginning of the season when we talked about this, how you don't feel that James Franklin is going to make that next step.
I mean, I was hoping he would, but I didn't know if he would for sure. And I thought they were so conservative those first three quarters. It really wasn't until they were down 17-3 that you saw Penn State kind of open up the offense and attack. And I don't know, man. Maybe this is just who Drew Aller is. Maybe Drew Aller is not capable of being the guy who can force the ball downfield and win you games. Maybe he is just a game manager who is not great at reading defenses. Because it seems like he's afraid. It seems like he's afraid to throw into one-on-one coverage. It seems like if guys aren't wide open, he is scared to throw the ball. And that's problematic.
Let's obviously hit on the major upset of last weekend, Virginia stunning Florida State. Yeah. That was major. And then The other one out that really surprised me was how close the Tennessee Mississippi State game was.
Mississippi State's improved. I mean, wasn't it just last year they lost to Toledo by like 4 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this year they're what, 4-0, 4-1, something like that?
4-1 now, yeah.
4-1. Yeah, oh yeah, because they lost last week, obviously. But 4-1, and they looked good against Tennessee even in the loss. So right. I feel like their coach, I feel like Jeff Lebby saved his job at this point.
And I would definitely say the 2 games that really surprised me coming from last week, especially in the Big Ten, was the USC-Illinois game and the Indiana-Iowa game. I thought those 2 were going to be drastically different than what they ended up being. Both great games, but
I wasn't surprised. Indiana got Iowa, man. Iowa does that. They will drag you into the muck. They will make you play their style of football. They will slow the game down. Indiana's really RPO heavy, and Iowa is really good. They run that zone defense, and everybody watches the quarterback, and everybody puts their arms up when the ball's in the air. And that makes it hard to run an RPO because RPO is like that quick timing. You got to get it into that little slot. You need to fit the ball into a little slot. And Iowa has always been really good under Phil Parker and Kirk Ferentz at stopping that RPO and everyone getting their hands up and making it hard to see passing lanes and stuff like that. So I wasn't that surprised that Iowa kept it close. And honestly, if Iowa's quarterback doesn't get hurt in the 4th quarter, and they missed a kick to take the lead, and their quarterback got hurt, or else they probably win that game.
Exactly. Hey, before we continue, we're going to add the 3rd member to the crew, Mr. Michigan man himself, Mr. Eric. Good, how you doing, brother?
Not too bad. Sorry for running late. Had something happen this morning I had to take care of, but
it's okay. You're good. We're here. We're talking about football.
Of course.
All right, so now that we got everybody here, let's just jump right into it. We got some big games to talk about today, but I think we're going to go in reverse order today. I want to switch it up a little bit. We're going to talk about the what I consider the blowout possibility games, or the games that they have the spread upwards of 20 plus. So without further ado, we're going to start with the first game. Kentucky, Georgia coming off of the slugfest they had with Alabama last weekend. They're an 18.5-point favorite at home. What do you guys got?
I don't know if this could be a worse situation for Kentucky because Georgia's angry. Georgia feels like they should have gotten one last week, and they, didn't. And I think they're going to come into this game full of piss and vinegar, ready to play hard and just dominate. And Kentucky is, I think, 100th in the FBS in offense right now. So I don't see them, against this Georgia defense. I don't see them scoring many, if any points.
I'm not really too confident, especially with Kentucky not having any offensive presence, and especially with how Georgia was able to run the ball last week against us, and they still got beat. They're going to look to enforce their will early. So Kentucky better be ready for a fight, or else it's going to be a blowout. Probably more than 18 points. I have that game at about 35-0 dogs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not far off. I think that Kentucky might get lucky enough to push it down far enough to get a few field goals. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be something like, 34-9 maybe, and that's kind of generous for Kentucky. So I think they do. I think they do cover.
Yeah, I think they cover easily. I think this is like 41-6.
Yeah,
solid. So I'm gonna kick it to you guys up here in the Big Ten. What does Penn State do after another massive letdown to their fan base and their team and the university with not being able to climb over that hump and win a big game? I mean, what do they do in this matchup against UCLA?
I told you I thought James Franklin was going to James Franklin it last week.
You were right. I
You
was
did.
wrong.
You definitely did.
No, I mean, they're going against UCLA, right? So, like, that's a dumpster fire. It has been.
It's worse than a dumpster fire. UCLA is the worst team in the Big Ten, maybe the worst. UCLA should play North Carolina and find out who the worst power conference team is how it should go. UCLA, I mean, they can't do anything. They lost last week against Northwestern, which hasn't been able to do anything.
Be bigger than the disparity between Georgia and Kentucky.
Bigger? Yeah, absolutely bigger. Absolutely. Now the question is how long will James Franklin leave his starters in? But I think he needs to push the ball down the field a little bit. I think Aller needs to take some shots and prove to himself, if nobody else, that he can do it. You know.
So here's the thing, though. After I'm almost out on Aller. Like,
I am. I'm out on Aller.
He's not what he was hyped up to be. And as much as I think that the gap between these two teams is bigger than Georgia, Kentucky, I just don't trust Aller. And I think it'll actually be a little bit closer of a game than what I had with Georgia, Kentucky. I'll say like 31 to 13.
Whoa. E. Are you putting Penn State on upset alert?
No.
Okay.
I'm saying the gap between these two teams, because Aller has been so ineffectual that I've got to see something. Okay. I think that I don't think they're covering this. I don't even think they're coming close.
Really?
Yeah.
Against UCLA?
I don't trust Drew Aller. I think he's the wrong fit for this offense, like I was saying last week. I don't think, for whatever reason, he just is not taking shots downfield. I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's the play calling. I don't know if they don't trust him. It's just not working. And as much as I think that UCLA is a dumpster fire, when you got two teams and one's got a quarterback, as much as I think that both quarterbacks have been letdowns, I feel like Nico has the ability to potentially step up and do something. I think Penn State their team is better, and so they're going to win the game. But I think Nico's going to look like a better quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're wrong. I think UCLA is so bad. I think they are as bad as Purdue was last year. I think Penn State can name their score today.
I just don't trust Drew Aller right now.
I love this.
Like if I had to take Drew Aller or Nico, I'm taking Nico.
Yeah, but they don't have any other players. It's just Nico.
That's true.
Nico can't throw to himself.
Aller can't throw at all.
Yeah, but UCLA can't block Penn State. Penn State is so good.
That's fair. That's fair.
They're so good.
I'm not saying that Penn State's going to lose. I'm just saying they're going to win, but they're not going to win by more than 30.
I mean, I think they are. I think it's like 42-6.
Oh, we're going to revisit. I can't wait to revisit this next week because this is something we're going to recap. This is why I do this.
I could have
we got a good
run on this. I just don't. Drew Aller is. I'm out on him. I'm just out on Drew Aller.
All right, I like it. Moving on. I don't think this is going to be anything close. Obviously, ESPN, I've had to update these graphics. This is now the fourth time this week, and these points keep going up in this game. So Oklahoma, big at home. I mean, they're facing a MAC squad. So I mean, if they're not winning this game by 50 points, to me, it's a loss. Like realistically,
it's week 6. What are they doing playing Kent State in week 6? Come on, Oklahoma. What are we doing schedule-wise?
I mean, I think that's why they have such a tough schedule, because after Kent State, it's varsity level football for the rest of the season. Yeah. And which I don't agree either. Why they're, you have a conference game, then you have a straight up cupcake walk, because Kent State's not going to be able to do anything against that Oklahoma defense.
No, Kent State is historically bad.
Yeah, they saw that. what was it, like 70-something point beat down that Tennessee gave them last year before coming to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma was like, we need some of that.
Fair.
I mean, and Kent State this year is worse than they were last year. At least last year they had Krishan McCray.
Right.
Right.
But no, I mean, the thing with Oklahoma, like Mateer's out, but their backup quarterback is the quarterback that started half the season last year. And whatever you think about his ceiling, the fact that he's not coming in starting for the first time, or he's not inexperienced, I think that it's going to be a beatdown. I think this is going to be a game where Oklahoma tries to get their run game actually going the way that we thought it would be before the season.
Yeah, they're going to need to, because they're about to get into the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Moving on. Mike, finally got you guys on here. The floor is yours, brother, man. The floor is yours.
I mean, here's what I'll say. Is Darius Taylor playing? Because if Darius Taylor is playing, then there's a chance this is interesting for like a while. If. But I don't think he's going to play. I think that they're probably going to save him until next week at this point. And if Darius Taylor doesn't play, we've seen with Minnesota can't really run the ball without their number 2 running back, AJ Turner, is out for the year. So if Darius Taylor can't play, Minnesota can't run the ball. And against this Ohio State defense, which I think is the best defense in the country, that's bad. And that means, Drake Lindsey for Minnesota has been fantastic. He's been really good. He's actually been, by Pro Football Focus, the highest rated passer in the Big Ten as a redshirt freshman. So Drake Lindsey was really good. He was really good in the win over Rutgers last week. He looked great in that game. I think Minnesota has some nice receivers. Jalen Smith is really emerging. Javon Tracy's pretty good. But we're talking about Ohio State. We're talking about, Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and Max Clare. We're talking about a Matt Patricia defense that is just unbelievably historically good. Ohio State, people thought with all the personnel that Ohio State lost, that they were going to have troubles on defense this year, that things were going to be harder. Well, it hasn't been harder. If anything, the defense has been even better. If anything, the defensive line has been more dynamic. And Matt Patricia is running a more complex scheme than Jim Knowles ran last year. So he's really doing a lot to confuse opposing teams. So this is a bad matchup for Minnesota. It's not going to go great. I do think Ryan Day is playing slower. He's trying to limit reps. He's trying to, I think he's trying to limit wear and tear for the length of the season. So he's not trying to put up 1 million points. He's kind of doing what Michigan did a couple of years ago in 2023, when the Wolverines were just kind of would get big up on people and then just kind of squeeze them to death,
the boa constrictor.
And do the boa constrictor thing. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to go great at all. I think it's oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think Minnesota can keep it close enough to with the points?
No, I don't think so. I think it's like 36-6.
Okay. So to your original point though, if Darius Taylor plays, how much do you think that affects the final score?
I think that gives Minnesota a chance to be more dynamic. They also throw the ball to Darius a lot.
Yeah.
I think that gives Minnesota a chance to get in the end zone at some point, maybe like once. So if Darius plays, I would say we get like 13 points instead of 3 or 6.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really argue that. I mean, I'm not supposed to like either of these teams, but I can't deny that I actually kind of do like Minnesota, but I just don't think they're going to be able to keep it a game.
No, it's not a good matchup for the Gophers at all. And it's a night game, and Ohio State's been clamoring for a night game, so they're going to be breathing fire.
They're so angry that they haven't had a night game.
I know, and now it gets to be us. So I just hope, honestly, gentlemen, I'm just hoping nobody gets hurt. That's all I really am hoping out of this game. I think every other game on the schedule, Minnesota has a good chance to win. I think they'll be favored in most of their games going forward. But it's not gonna against Ohio State. It's just not gonna happen.
So you're just saying just let Lindsey and Parrish get out of there without injuries. That's all.
I would say run the ball like 40 times and try to get out of there. Yeah.
Sacrifice the third string running back.
Yeah. Exactly. Give Feme a lot of touches and just grind clock. And I just don't think, I think you try early, right? You take a couple deep shots early. You maybe try to force a turnover. You be really aggressive. Maybe if you can get ahead early, that changes the dynamic of the game, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
All right. Moving right along with today's top matchups. Guys, let's get into it. Up first, obviously, we got Texas at Florida. This line keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So here they have it at now 5.5. Texas on the road, Arch Manning on the road for just the second time in the season. I know it's the Gators, and I know they're having a rough season, but it is Gainesville. This is not a fun place to play, especially when you don't have the confidence of playing good on the road. You have shades of the last time you were on the road, and this is not a Sam Houston State or a UTEP defensive line they're going to be facing. These are actual SEC athletes. Despite their record, this is still going to be an interesting game for Texas. And obviously, the money and the powers that be agree with me because this money line is now only at just above a field goal. What do you got, fellas?
I mean, this one's tough for me because there's questions about both quarterbacks. Feels like the theme of the year for across college football is these quarterbacks that were hyped up and that haven't really shown up the way that we expected them to. So,
no, it's been the young quarterbacks who have done more.
Well, yeah, because think about all the quarterbacks. Not to sidetrack too much here, but that were hyped up: Aller, Nico, Lenore Sellers, Arch Manning, DJ Lagway, like all these quarterbacks that were hyped up to be the top guys this year. How many of them have actually lived up to that?
Just Carson Beck, really.
Yeah, and so with this game, for me, it's like, okay, if we remove the quarterback from both teams, who's got the better team? And I struggle with this because I think that Texas has the better team in the trenches, but I kind of like Florida's skill position players a little bit better. As a Michigan guy, I got to go with the trenches, but I don't feel confident about this.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I think the problem for Florida is that they've been really dependent on big plays offensively. They have not shown the ability to drive the ball methodically down the field. And against a Texas defense that I think is one of the top 3 defenses in college football, I think that's a problem. And I think that, Texas is going to sit back and play like quarters or 2 high safeties or something kind of conservative on defense. And they're going to say, okay, Florida, let's see you go 8 plays and 65 or 75 yards. Let's see if you can do it. Keep everything in front of them and let Florida make mistakes. And Florida has, up until this point, made mistakes. So I agree with you. The skill talent at Florida is obviously always really good. But I think Texas is better in the trenches, and I don't trust that Florida offense to stay on schedule. So I think Texas wins this, but I agree it could be a close back and forth kind of ugly game.
Right.
I'm gonna err toward the side of Florida. Just because I don't really have any confidence in Texas on the road. I also don't think that Texas has the meat up front that they have had, that they had last year coming into this year. I know they got the edge guys and the advantage at linebacker, but Florida has a they do have a stout offensive line in the middle. They struggle with their tackles, but their center and their guards they're pretty good. And I just think at home, that atmosphere, it's going to be an afternoon. It's not a noon game, so game that once it gets to be in that later afternoon, it gets pretty rough in Gainesville. So Florida I see Florida's defense being able to keep it close enough to give Lagway a chance to win it in the end.
So you think Florida's going to pull the upset, huh?
I really do.
Wow.
I think this is going to be the one of the final nails because I don't have any confidence in Texas's offense.
Yeah, Arch Manning has not been it, man. For being the most hyped recruit of all time and it being his third year, it's kind of wild how much he struggled.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, and he's going into a rougher environment than he faced in Columbus. And
I don't know about that. Rougher than Columbus? I mean, I know Gainesville's tough, but
that they're going to be up for this SEC game.
Yeah. No, I'm sure.
What I'm saying is the fields are different. The crowd is on top of them. It's a different environment. The Buckeye Stadium is more spread out. Gainesville, it's like literally on top of you. It's a different environment when you come out in the field, and those fans are literally yelling in the back of your ear. Like it's like a pit. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's a difference in stadium. Like the loud, it's that's what I mean. Like it's going to be more violent. The crowd is going to be more on top of them than it was in Columbus. And I just think I don't have any. I think that Florida does have strength in their lines, and Texas hasn't shown anything in the passing game. So I think they can keep it close enough to give Lagway a chance in the end. Because if not, this game is going to be the final nail in one of their coffins, one way or the other.
You think Billy Napier gets fired here?
I was just about to ask. No. I was just about to ask that same thing. So no, we're good.
I do believe this will be I can see it happening. Because Texas is like, they're ranked 9th in the country, but their last 2 games have honestly not been how a 9th ranked team should play teams that haven't even been ranked. So
right.
If Texas comes into Florida in Gainesville and blows Florida off the map, I could see it definitely happening. But on the other hand, if Texas goes into Gainesville and Gainesville somehow dethrones Texas, I can see Arch not having a starting job after this game. That's why I'm saying it's going to be the nail in one of their 2 coffins, one way or the other. Because changes in both programs are going to have to happen because it's SEC football now. This is not out of conference. So a loss this massive on both sides is going to need change going forward.
Do you think Arch could lose his job mid-season? Is that on the table?
Well, who's his backup?
I don't even know. But I assume it's Steve Sarkisian. I assume whoever the backup is was probably a highly rated recruit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a 5-star. And I'm pretty sure that from what I learned from my Texas contacts that he might have even looked better over the summertime and the spring than Arch did. Wow. But being as if it's Arch Manning. And I know that Sark was not a major fan of the whole Arch Manning getting shoved down his throat. Because if you look at Sarkisian, he wants a quarterback. He wants somebody that can, spray the ball around and, Arch ain't really, hasn't proven that yet. Quinn Ewers was a guy that before he got hurt was able to, spray the ball around.
Right.
And, so.
Well, but you also got to think like outside of just this season, I would bet that he doesn't lose his job for a couple reasons. One, I think that they still believe in the upside of Arch Manning, even if it's not showing up this season. I don't know that they would want to risk him transferring out and being great somewhere else next season by them jumping the gun. Yeah. But then also, I'm pretty sure that, and I know, take it with a grain of salt because of what we're seeing right now, but there's another Manning coming up And by all accounts, he's the better than Arch, better than any of them who's in high school. I forget if he's a 27 or 28 recruit. I forget, but he's supposed to be the best one, the best Manning.
Is he Arch's brother?
I don't remember. I'd have to look it up.
Or is it Eli's
No.
kid? Or
Peyton was just at his high school game literally last night, and I saw the headline for it, and I was reading up on it. I just don't remember what relation he is. But but you don't want to alienate the family if they're already warm to Texas. You know what I'm saying? You want them to feel like you treated them right and get an inroad on that next guy too. So
yeah, and it's important for any program. You need your best, highest rated recruits to like play well, so that more highly rated recruits want to go play for you.
Yep. So I don't think he loses the job even if he plays poorly this year, because I think that they're still looking at the upside next year and potentially even farther down the road with the other men.
No, because they got Dia Bell coming in next year.
Oh, Raja Bell's kid.
Sorry, bro.
Man. He's supposed to be something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's Sark. Even that kid that's there, that Lacey kid that's there from Sarlin, that dude, he's an athlete. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, because who Sark has coming in next year, that he wants a gunslinger. And especially in the days of you have to keep recruits. Because last year, let's face it, Texas's offense eventually didn't do good in the playoffs. So, and that kind of led to some of their offensive recruits maybe not getting them as high as receivers as they wanted in this last class. So having a quarterback that's not performing, and receivers aren't getting the ball, that's not going to do good for recruiting. So that's what I'm saying. This game has implications. He could go out and play well, and I could be completely wrong. Or he could go out and play like he did and almost get booed out of his own stadium, going 0 for 10. And that was at home.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he went 0 for 10 at home, fellas. He's not going to be, he's far from home now. It's a different shade of orange. Those Florida fans are not right in the head, and they already they don't like Mannings down there.
Right.
Like, I don't like Mannings. So it's going to be violent.
Oh, the student section's going to go at him hard. They're going to go at him hard.
So assuming that we can believe Grok on this, the next Manning is Arch's brother, Hyde Manning, who is as of right now class of 29.
Wild.
Oh, so that's not even really relevant.
No, that's a guy down the road.
No, I thought he was like 2 years closer.
No. All right, so we've spent this Texas thing. Let's move on to a team that everybody, I think, in this chat, watching this show, on this panel, can say that we all hate: Notre Dame and Boise State. I pray for an upset. I want the upset. I'd love it for Boise State, but the way Notre Dame's played lately, I don't see it happening. Notre Dame's favored heavy. So, fellas, what do you got on this?
I think Notre Dame wants to make a statement with this game. I think that they got embarrassed to start the season, and they have to basically win big every game the rest of the season. And I think they're going to try to do it. I think they have the talent to do it. The biggest question mark for me is still their offensive coordinator. I've seen some good things last week, but I need it to be consistent. But I just don't think Boise State has the firepower now to keep up with a team like Notre Dame. They don't have Genty, and they don't have enough depth to replace him. So,
yeah, Boise State's still a very good, group of 5 team. They still will compete for the playoff, but they are not explosive on offense the way they were when they had Ashton Genty. They just aren't, and it's not reliable the same way. And Notre Dame has been really good since losing those first 2 games. CJ Carr looks like one of the, we talk about quarterbacks underachieving. Let's talk about quarterbacks overachieving. CJ Carr has been amazing.
Yep.
He's been fantastic. He's been as good as advertised, for sure. So that's been really good for the Irish. And then, you look at Notre Dame, it's exactly what you said. They need to run up the score because really 10-2 is not with their schedule. 10-2 is not a good enough record that they should be making the playoff. But if they make it look pretty enough, they can, and because they're the brand they are, they can get into that conversation. So, I mean, like last week, I think they faked a punt up 30.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing.
They're going for the jugular every time.
With their brand, if you give the committee enough reason to put them in to placate the television networks, they're going to do it. And so now it's all about style points for Notre Dame the rest of the season.
I'll be cheering for USC hard when they play.
I will be cheering for everyone they play.
Yeah.
I can't speak positively of USC for another 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, fair.
I respect that. Moving right along. So now we got the Michigan man's game. Wisconsin versus number 20 Michigan at a 17.5 spread. E-Man, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is going to be kind of like we were talking about a statement game with the last one. I think this is going to be a statement game for Bryce, for Sharon. Sharon coming back off of his suspension, seeing what Chip Lindsey's offense looked like without him throttling it as he was the first 2 weeks. Seeing what Bryce can do with his legs and opening it up. If you believe what's being said, there was a little bit of pressure put on Sharon by the administration to not limit Bryce the way he was originally. So I think you're going to see him take the reins off a bit. I think the biggest limiting factor for Michigan right now is the receivers. So I think Bryce is going to go off, but I think it's not going to be like an all-out passing attack. I think we talked about it last week, and I sent you that thing the other night. I think we're on the verge of a potential Heisman talk with Justice Haynes. If he keeps getting 130, 150 plus yards every game like he has been, it's got to be in the conversation. Your own guy, what's his name? Game Day.
Saban?
No. Or not Game Day, but Big Noon.
Mark Ingram?
Yeah, Mark Ingram. He was hyping up Justice Haynes for the Heisman in some interviews last night in a media scrum with the Michigan reporters.
Was he?
It's getting a little hard to deny. So I think we're going to see him lean into Justice Haynes. I think you're going to see the running threat of Bryce is going to open up lanes for Justice. And I think that you're going to see Wink Martindale throw the kitchen sink at this Wisconsin offense, who is without Billy Edwards again. So they're running Danny O'Neal. And based on what I've seen so far this year, O'Neal is not going to be able to handle the complex looks that Wink Martindale is going to throw at.
So the hope for Wisconsin is that right now the Badgers are good at one thing, and that's stopping the run. They rank first in the country in rush defense at 50 per game. So Michigan is a run first, second, and third kind of team. So this is a game where if Wisconsin's going to have a chance, they have to shut down the Michigan running game. They have to. Because if they don't, then I don't know what they're going to do, because Wisconsin can't throw the ball and they can't run the ball. They especially can't run the ball, but they can't really throw it very well either. And like you said, when Danny O'Neal's been in there, I mean, man, he's throwing lollipops. Some of those balls, it's like you're playing 500 in the backyard, and he's just like, okay, somebody go get it. And you're like, no, man, you can't just, there's a safety there. You can't just throw it up for grabs. So Danny O'Neal is not very good. I think that what we need to see from Michigan, if Michigan is going to turn in and have the season they want to have, this has got to be the game where Bryce Underwood throws the ball a little better. And his receivers need to help him out more. Donovan McCulley, was brought in and has had his moments when he was at Indiana. Like, he's got to step up and be a big play receiver for them, because let's be real, Samaj Morgan has just been disappointing. You know, he has just not ever turned into the player I think that they thought he was going to be when they got him. So they need Donovan McCulley and maybe somebody else to step up at receiver. And I want to see Michigan take advantage of a Wisconsin team that's really down and does not have a good secondary. And see if Michigan can throw the ball, because again, Wisconsin's going to pack the box. They're going to dare Michigan to throw the ball. I want to see Michigan prove they can throw the ball.
So
here's the thing. Hold on. So before you go.
Yeah.
We actually got our hands, and I got to see the Wisconsin defensive line firsthand. These dudes are heavy. It's not about the fact that they're just good in the run game. They have one of the heaviest, if not the heaviest, average across their front four. So this is 320, 325 plus across their line. That's tough to move. And especially going to a team that they know that they're going to be facing a run-heavy team, and Fickell being a defensive-minded coach, I'm with Mike on this one. Bryce is going to have to – I think Michigan's going to have to win this game, so at least be able to open up a passing game, or else Wisconsin's just going to throw 8 in the box. And if they throw 8 in the box, they're not going to have any lanes to run in, because Wisconsin's got the dudes to eat up that type of space.
Right.
They don't just have 1 or 2 300-pounders. They got 4. So that's a little bit tougher to double team a couple guys when you got 4 guys that are just as meaty, if not meatier, than the guys you got in the offensive line.
So
and I saw it firsthand too. And we got some pretty good offensive linemen at the University of Alabama, and they stunned us. Well, I know we don't have the attack that you guys do, but they got some dudes.
Well, okay, so a couple points here. I'm gonna circle back to the run defense here real quick. But again, I think the biggest part to this game today is Wink Martindale's defense. Jayshon Barham being moved down to edge, the emergence of Jimmy Roller and Cole Sullivan at linebacker, allowing Barham to move down and basically be that 5th D lineman, that 3rd edge rusher, and allowing Wink to just do all of his exotic blitz stuff, dropping Rayshawn Benny into coverage, which was crazy. But I think you're going to see NFL-style complex looks that thrown at a quarterback that can't process it. I think that's going to be the primary factor in Michigan dominating today. I think as far as the wide receiver room, I think Donovan McCulley's good. Don't get me wrong; he's the best receiver on the team right now because of his experience. But he is what he is. We're going to see flashes, but I think what we're going to see more today and in the next couple weeks is the emergence of Andrew Marsh, true freshman wide receiver. The first couple weeks he was really getting his feet under him, but if you watch week to week, he has improved week over week over week by leaps and bounds. So I think that coming out of the bye, you're going to see him be a larger part of the passing game. I also, and this is a personal thing here, I think that you're going to see Kendrick Bell, the younger brother of former wide receiver Ronnie Bell at Michigan, is going to actually get more playing time. I think you're going to see Channing Goodwin a little bit phased out. He has not been as consistent in the games as he has been in practice. I think that the passing game will be effective, but again, we're still limited by the wide receivers. But I think the fact that Bryce can throw and the fact that Bryce can run is going to be the reason that we are able to run on him. But back to Wisconsin's run defense. Okay. Set aside Alabama for a second. They played Western Michigan, who was 120th nationally in run offense. Miami of Ohio, 115th nationally in run offense. Maryland, 105th nationally. Are they really that great of a run defense, or did they just play some of the worst run offenses in the entire country the first 5 weeks of the season?
I think we're going to find out today. You know?
And I mean, and Alabama, you guys didn't do great running against them. I think it's like a little over 3 yards per carry. But you guys are more of a passing attack right now anyway.
We actually run the ball more than we pass the ball.
Yeah, but it feels like your passing game is more effective.
Yeah. Look, I think Michigan wins. I just was trying to make the case for our rivals because, if it's going to be a close game, that's going to be why.
I never said Michigan was going to win the game or Wisconsin was going to win the football game.
Yeah.
Never did I say that.
No, I've got Michigan winning, but not quite covering. So I'm saying it's Michigan 27, Wisconsin 10. I think it's close in the first half, but I think eventually the body blows wear down on Wisconsin. And I do think that Wink Martindale defense forces a couple turnovers because Danny O'Neal just isn't very good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't have Wisconsin scoring. I just have I don't have them scoring a bunch. I just don't have Michigan scoring a bunch either. I do have Michigan in a 24-6 game. 24-6.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say you're gonna see more scoring from Michigan than you're used to seeing this week. I think Sharon coming back off of the suspension, the way Chip Lindsey and Biff Poggi opened up the offense, and the way that they need to make a statement, the pressure from the administration, from the donors on Sharon to let Bryce play. I think you're going to see them make a point just to try to score. Now, it's a little bit of optimism for me. I think they're going to be able to do it, but I think you're going to see them try to push the envelope on that front. And so I do think we're going to see like a 38-9 score. And I think at least one of those touchdowns comes off of a defensive score.
Okay. I can see that.
All right. Moving right along to the next games we got up. Now we're going to get into some of these a little bit more closer matched games. First up on the docket, we got number 14, Iowa State at 3-1 Cincinnati. And this is an interesting one because the ESPN and the powers that be are favoring the Natty. What do you guys think about this? What are the thoughts? I'm interested.
I think the spread's been going in Iowa State's direction, though. I think now it's gone. I think it's at Iowa State 1.5 or something like that. 1.5. So the money's coming in on Iowa State. I thought it was
still Cincy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just updated these. It's still Cincy.
Interesting. Well, that's why I'll say that's wild to me because, Iowa State is undefeated. And I know that the Kansas State win doesn't look as good anymore because Kansas State isn't very good. But Rocco Becht is one of the best QBs in the country. He's got over 1,100 yards passing already, 7 TDs to just 2 picks. Carson Hansen has been good, running the ball. And Iowa State's spreading the ball around to a lot of different receivers, which has kept opposing defenses off balance. That said, Cincinnati QB Brendan Sorsby has improved a lot this year. I mean, he used to be a guy who turned the ball over nonstop. And this year, he's completing 69% of his passes with 10 TDs to just 1 pick. And that 1 pick was, it was a bad play call. It was the Nebraska game. They had a chance to win. And on first down, they threw it into the end zone when they needed a field goal to tie and, could have worked it in to get a touchdown to win. So that was probably more a bad play call than it was, the quarterback's fault, I think. That said, the problem with Cincinnati is Sorsby is also their leading rusher. So the Bearcats are really one-dimensional offensively. It is they're making the whole offense out of Brendan Sorsby. So it's up to him to run. It's up to him to scramble and make plays when he can. I think that's the difference. I think the difference is that Iowa State is a little more balanced. They have an actual running game from the running back. So I think this is a big win for Iowa State. I think this is kind of a statement from them. I've got Iowa State 28, Cincinnati 17.
Yeah, I think as good as Sorsby's sort of developed, I still think Rocco Becht outclasses him. I think the Iowa State is the better, just well-rounded team. I think their defense is better. I think their offense just is. I just like Iowa State more, but I do like what I'm seeing from Cincinnati. I think that the score is going to be probably like a. I think Iowa State does cover. I think it's like a 28-24 win, but I don't think there'll be any point in the game where it'll really truly feel like Cincinnati's going to win.
I like Iowa State in this one. I've been a fan of Iowa State the last couple of years. I just think they have too much on both sides of the football for Cincinnati. Like they don't have a run game. And when you don't have a run game and when you're being one dimensional in this day and age in college football, it's not going to work. So yeah, give me Iowa State. Give me Iowa State 35, Cincinnati 28. Next one, we got another Big Ten. Interesting game. We got number 22, Illinois at 2-2 Purdue. Spread gives Illinois a 7.5 points. What you guys got?
I think it's too many points. And here's why. Because Illinois has really struggled with Purdue. The last 10, 15 years. It's like, you know how one program gets in another program's head at some point? Purdue was Purdue was the worst team in the country last year in the power conference, and it took Illinois, I think, 2 overtimes to beat them by 1 point. And now they go to Ross Aid, which if you haven't been there, Purdue has a legit home field advantage. Their fans show up, they're loud, they will get after you. Like they have a good fan base. And Illinois is coming off a really emotional big win over USC last week. Purdue has been better under Barry Odom. They're not great, but they're scrappy. They're competent. They know what they want to do on offense and defense. They don't have all the personnel yet, but Devin Maccabee's a decent enough running back that you can make things happen with him. I think Illinois wins, but I just don't think I think Illinois wins. I'm picking them to win, but I think it's a really close game for like quite a while. So I am saying it's Illinois 24, Purdue 17. I think this is a scare. I think this is a game that gives Purdue some confidence going forward in playing well against a good Illinois team.
So I'm a little bit on the other side of this. Listen, I am not a Brett Bielema fan. I do like Altmaier, and I'm not a huge believer in Illinois, but I think more in their psyche than coming off the emotional win last week is they're still reeling from the beatdown they got from Indiana, and I think they still want to prove that the preseason hype wasn't wrong about them. And I am not high on Purdue. Listen, I don't dislike Barry Odom, but I feel like I've said this for a long time. I think he made a mistake that the best part of his offense that got him a Power 4 job, he let go to Sacramento State. And he did not bring the go-go offense with him. He did. I'm blanking on the coordinator's name, who's now the head coach at Sacramento State, but
right.
Absolutely, Brendan Marion. I'm such a fan of his offense and Brendan Marion as an offensive mind, and I think Odom messed up not bringing him with him. I just don't think Purdue's going to be able to stack up to Illinois. I don't think they have the talent. I think their defense is way too shaky. I think Illinois is going to. Man. I think Illinois is going to dominate them. Well, they're going to win big. I might stop short of saying dominating, but I'm saying they're going to win probably like 34-22.
See, that's one I'm more on the side with Mike. Purdue to me is one of these teams, especially this is a noon game. Illinois coming off what they had to go through last week, and Purdue is one of those teams that has, and like I'm not saying this to be in any way, shape, accusatory in any way, but they have one of those fan bases that kind of follows that Texas A&M cult fashion, that weird things just happen at high noon in Purdue. And I think this is going to be a way closer game. I think a field goal decides it late in the fourth. So give me Illinois over over Purdue 23-20.
So real quick side note on this, to what I was saying with Brennan Marion, because went back and forth on this in conversations with people. Had he brought Brennan Marion and the go-go offense with him, do you think they would be better than they are now, or do you think it wouldn't, that offense does not work in Power 4 football?
No, I think they'd be better than they are now. And I think Ryan Brown could have run that offense. I think Ryan Brown is not a bad quarterback for Purdue. I don't.
Right.
He's mobile and he can throw it okay, and like he knows what he's doing. He's not a total, I don't think he's a minus out there. I think he's a decent enough player. Now, what Purdue doesn't have is like a bunch of wide receivers who scare you. That's what they don't have. And that's why I think
the go-go offense, the go-go offense in a lot of ways can mask that with the motions and the different formations that they have.
Right.
I remember when UNLV came to play Michigan a couple years ago, and I saw that go-go offense for the first time. I was just like, I mean, there wasn't any point where I thought that we were going to lose, but it was so much fun watching that offense.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, next up we got the freshly ranked number 24 coming off their upset win, 24 Virginia Cavaliers versus undefeated Louisville at home, and Louisville has the points. So what do we think about this ACC showdown? Eric.
So see, I'm here. I'm going to use the logic that Mike sort of had with Illinois. I think Virginia is riding high off of the win last week. I think that I'm not a huge fan of Louisville, but I do think they're going to be stout enough to hold off Virginia, and that Virginia is going to have a little bit of a letdown week following that win last week. I'll say it's probably I don't know. We'll say like a 33-28 win for Louisville. Ooh. I do think they're going to be able to score some points, but I just don't think they're going to pull off another one.
Mike.
Yeah, I mean, give it up for Virginia. I watched the second half of that game against Florida State. It wasn't a fluke. They deserved to win.
Yeah.
They were a good team. But I agree. I think that they gave a big effort and a big emotional win last week. And, here's the thing. After watching him as long as I did in the Big Ten, I am a big believer in Jeff Brom. We call him Big Game Brom on my podcast. Because when you think you got him, he shows up and he will give you some offensive wrinkles you did not expect, and he will get you. And I know Miller Moss hasn't been amazing yet this year, but I think Miller Moss is a good quarterback. I think Jeff Brom is a great coach. Louisville has good talent. They have good NIL, and they pay their players well, so they have pretty solid talent. And I think Louisville wants to prove that they're a legit ACC title contender. And if they're going to prove that, I think they got to win this game. So I think Louisville wins. I think it's a close game. But I just think that Virginia is going to come out a little slow and get behind, and they're not going to quite be able to make it up. So I've got, I think I've got Louisville 34, Virginia 27.
Interesting. So, obviously, the Cavaliers played an amazing game. That effort does something. Except, I think it's going to have the opposite effect. But I think it's going to hurt them. I think they're going to come out too confident. And I think Louisville's going to hit them early. And I think this is going to be a statement game for Louisville. I see Louisville running away with this one in the second half. Give me Louisville 38, Virginia 17.
Has anybody heard anything from Squirrel White? Did he survive the field rush the other day?
He was spotted in the locker room. I think a camera saw him. I have not heard or seen anything of him on social media, but I think they did confirm that he was okay.
That was a dangerous field rush. That was a dangerous field rush.
That's the craziest field rush I've ever seen.
I mean, the game was barely over, and that the entire end zone was flooded with fans. It was crazy.
All right, so moving right along to what I would say is the as far as the above the top ranked matchup. This matchup right here, this number 11 undefeated Texas Tech versus undefeated Houston. The spread has gone up now to 12.5 points to Texas Tech. Fellas, speak on the Big 12.
Quick question about this. Is the reason the spread is moving up, is that because Morton is coming back? Because I've seen conflicting things. Like at first I was under the impression he was out this week, but now I'm seeing reports otherwise. Have you guys heard anything?
I heard he was likely to play, but I don't know. But that was on a podcast, and I can't verify that is correct.
The only thing that I have seen concrete is from something that their coach said that it is basically a game time decision. So I would say the fact that he's a game time decision weighs into those numbers.
See,
they haven't ruled him out yet.
I feel like who wins this game literally hinges on whether he plays or not. If he plays, I think that they win and they cover. If he's not playing, I don't know, man. Then it becomes like a 3-point or less game and potential upset, in my opinion. Assuming he plays, I'll say I think Texas Tech probably wins 35-23. But if he's out, I don't know. If he's out, it's all up in the air, in my opinion. I think their offense runs through him completely.
Houston has won games, but who have they beat that impresses you at all? Like, they barely beat Oregon State. Oregon State is 0-4. So I kind of think that the Houston is a little bit of a house of cards. In contrast, Texas Tech, those high-priced guys they got in the portal on the defensive line are real. Those guys are real. And I watched Texas Tech when they played Utah. They pushed Utah around. They dominated them physically in a way that I did not see coming at all. So I'm really high on Texas Tech. I think they're particularly strong in the trenches. And I don't think this is going to be a game, honestly, gentlemen. I've got Texas Tech 31, Houston 10.
Yeah, I'm with Mike on this one. Just because of the running game that Texas Tech has been able to put on this season, and the fact that Houston has not been especially stout against the run, and especially if their that's why I don't think it makes a difference if their quarterback's playing or not. If their quarterback's playing, this isn't going to be a game.
No, I agree with that.
But if their quarterback's not playing, I think the Texas Tech running game and the Texas Tech defensive line is going to cause havoc, because I watched that same game, and the Texas Tech defensive line will get pressure on Houston, and I think they turn the ball over, and I think they take care of business. I got Texas Tech 42, Houston 28.
The other thing I'll say is that the backup for Texas Tech, Hammond, now it's a limited sample size, but 31 for 41, 369 yards, 75.6% completions, 9 yards per attempt, 4 TDs, 1 pick. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
Means. That's not bad by any means. So I think even if it's the backup, I just think that the beat's going to roll on for Texas Tech.
And again, to be clear, if Morton plays, I think Texas wins easily. Houston also beat Colorado. They forced 2 turnovers, and they also have played like very well in clutch situations in all 4 games. When they needed to step up and make a play, they did. So that's what leads me to believe that if Morton's out, it'll be a closer game. And Houston does have that ability to sort of step up in the moment, I think, cause a turnover or make the big play on 3rd and long or something like that. That makes me not 100% sure. I do think Texas Tech is the better team. I just think if Morton's not there, it's a lot closer than we would like it. And it is, and Houston is at home. So
yeah, and Willie Fritz is a good coach. I mean, he really is. He's done good things in his career, so that he could have them up for sure. I don't know. I think that Texas Tech D line is so good, and if you can't block somebody, it makes it hard.
Yeah,
I just don't know how much success Houston's going to have blocking Texas Tech.
And I don't disagree with you. I was really high on Texas Tech last week when we talked. I still am. I'm just kind of trying to play devil's advocate a little bit here and make this conversation.
That's fair.
I love it.
That's how I felt in the Michigan-Wisconsin game.
Right.
Do I really believe Luke Fickell is going to suddenly turn it around now? No. but it's, if he's it's got to happen today.
Right.
Because they're not going to beat, Ohio State or Oregon. And they got those coming up. So
True.
Wisconsin's got to show. I'm not saying they got to win today, but Wisconsin's got to play well and show some improvement, because I just don't know what's going to happen with them. And not to sidetrack hardcore, but if you look at Wisconsin and what they have coming up after Michigan, they go Iowa, then they go Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, at Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, I said before the season I thought they had one of the hardest schedules in the country, and that I wasn't sure if Fickell makes it out of the season.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Eric. They're apparently, what I'm hearing from my Wisconsin sources, and I have pretty good sources, a friend of my pod, Scooby, saying that he doesn't think they have money to pay the buyout.
He thinks
they're stuck with Fickell.
Well,
it's like a $25 or $30 million buyout.
Yeah. So when I say doesn't make it out of the season, okay, I guess that's poor phrasing. I don't think that they fire him this year because of the buyout.
Yeah.
But I think if he doesn't, if they don't at least show signs of potential going into next year, I think they may be out on him after the season, to where it's a hole he has to climb out of to not be fired when they are able to financially.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And the thing is, Wisconsin is not going to be favored in a single game for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So if they're going to win more than the games they have
brutal.
now, if they're going to win more than the 2 games they have now, they're going to have to pull upsets. Which I'm not saying they can't do it, but that's what's going to have to happen.
I will say I do like the freshman quarterback that they got in, Carter Smith. We got a lot of looks at him because he was committed to Michigan at one point. I do like him. I think he will be good if Fickell can hold out until he can get Smith out there and develop him a little bit, put a team around him. Maybe he's able to sort of right the ship, but I'm not sure if I'm confident that he makes it to that point.
Yeah.
All right. Now we get to the big games. The big games. Okay. Starting off the ranked games. Number 16, Vanderbilt at my number 10 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. The spread is going up now to 12.5 points, favoring the Crimson Tide. I'll let you guys go first, and then I'll give I'll do this. I'll break it down and let you guys get your thoughts. So Vanderbilt comes in having probably one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the nation. He runs their passing game. He runs their running game. He is the heartbeat and soul of their team. He also possibly fathered half this team, as he's been in college longer than most people stay in college. I think this is his 6th year. But I digress. The kid is one hell of a competitor and a leader, and he has been firing off shots as well as his teammates about how they're going to come into T-Town and straight dominate us. They've been very good. They've beat a couple ranked teams on the road. They have a very unique offense. Their coach, Clark Lee, has done an amazing thing in turning around this program. I mean, we're talking about a Vanderbilt team that 5 years ago we would have just not even been talking about this game. But what he's been able to do with this program, the transfer portal, is nothing short of amazing. I want to give him big props on that. Again, they're undefeated. They're one of the best. They're one of the better rushing teams in the nation. They still pass the ball in an effective way. They also have, in my opinion, one of the top 3 best tight ends in the country on this team. He is very dynamic and very intricate in their offense. He also leads their team in receptions. And on the defensive side, they have 14 sacks as a team. They got a couple guys that can get after the passer and they want to tackle in space. These guys are also all seniors. There are a more senior-led team. This is a very seasoned team, a veteran-led team, and they have been playing very confident and very good football, probably some of the best football in the country right now. Coming in versus, my number 10 Alabama Crimson Tide. We are coming off of a win last week that most people would categorize as an emotional win for us. But if you're an Alabama fan, it's not, because we're 9-1 against Georgia in the last 10 games. So I know the country might view it as an emotional game, but as for our players, it was a tough game, yes. But as far as that emotional hangover, you're not going to see that, because they know the implications. And if you guys don't know, last year, Vanderbilt kicked our ass up and down the field for 4 quarters and embarrassed the living hell out of us. And a lot of these players were there for that. And we got 8 players returning on defense. So most of our defense is back this year, and they have that hangover in their heads. So our weakness this season, I've said it on all my podcasts on the final whistle, has been our run defense, and that is Vanderbilt's strength. So our defensive line and linebackers are going to have to make one hell of a stand today. But on the other side of the football, Vanderbilt does not have a great secondary either. And if you've watched Alabama, Ty Simpson has been carving up defenses like he was on the freaking Mayflower and it was turkey dinner. This dude has been dynamic. He's been cerebral. He has not thrown an interception yet, knock on wood. He has been very decisive in being able to deal with different pass rushes, and he has been able to spread the ball out. He is one of the best quarterbacks at hitting 7 to 8 different receivers every game. And if you're hitting that many receivers, that means you're not getting pressure on him. B, he's having time to look, but he also has, I think he's leading the country in getting the ball out quickly. He's only taken at most 2.5 seconds to get the ball out, which being able to facilitate it to that many guys that quickly, and Vanderbilt's lack of secondary, I think that's why the spread keeps going up. Plus, our wide receiver room is probably one of the better ones in the country, with Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, Ryan Hollywood-Williams, and the freshman stud that I've been raving about, Latier Brooks, number 17, is coming along. I think that's what's going to ultimately put us forward in the game, as well as the fact that we've been able to control the ball more with Ryan Grubb's offense. So I got this game, Alabama, obviously. So what do you guys got?
I mean,
go ahead.
Okay. I think what I've got is the over. I'm not a gambling man, but if I were, I think we're going to see points. These are 2 absolutely elite offenses. Over the last 3 games, Ty Simpson is completing over 80% of his passes, which is just bananas. And I think Ty Simpson and Diego Pavia are the highest rated quarterbacks in the SEC right now, 1 and 2. I think Ty Simpson is 1 and Pavia is right behind him in efficiency rating anyway.
When was the last time that a Vanderbilt quarterback was number 2 in the SEC?
Cutler, probably. Probably Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
I know they had a couple good seasons under James Franklin, but I don't know if they had any great quarterback play at that point.
Yeah.
I think both of these teams are going to score a lot of points. I like Vanderbilt's receivers and tight end. I think they have, dynamic playmakers. And look, would it be fun to pick Vandy to pull the upset? Sure. But Alabama is hitting its stride right now. And here's what I'd say. If Vanderbilt had not beaten Alabama last year, then maybe there's a chance. Maybe after Georgia, it's a little bit of a letdown, maybe. But on the road in Tuscaloosa, I just don't see Vanderbilt pulling out the victory. So I think it's going to be a fun first 2 or 3 quarters. I think it's going to be close and back and forth for a while before Alabama's, the superior athletes kind of make the difference. So I think it's, something like Alabama 42, Vanderbilt 31 or 28, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I actually really like this game. I like both teams this year. It's crazy when you think about some of the storylines around it. When is the last time that Alabama went into a game against Vanderbilt, not only not over, sort of just looking past them, but looking for revenge? When is the last time that happened? I really like Diego Pavia. I really like the Stowers, the tight end, couple of their defense players, and I do like Clark Lee. I think that Diego Pavia, man, he's like the Chihuahua that thinks it's a pit bull. He's like the Scrappy Doo of the SEC, and for whatever reason in college football that works. It does. It elevates somehow. There's no real way to quantify it, but it works. But I don't think that they have enough firepower to win this week, because I don't think Alabama is going to overlook them again. I don't think they're taking them lightly. I do think it's going to be close. I like the over. I think it's going to be like a 34-27 Alabama win. I think that Alabama's got a better quarterback than they had last year, and just are all around a better offense in year 2 under DeBoer. So we'll see.
Diego Pavia is fun, though.
Oh, yeah.
Pavia is a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely. And I mean,
he's a warrior.
Is this...
Not today, it won't be.
let me ask you guys a question. Do you think this year's Vanderbilt is better or worse than last year's Vanderbilt?
Significantly better.
And is, like I said, I think Simpson is an upgrade at quarterback, but is Bama equally better than last year's Bama?
I think it's so much different. I think Bama is so much better because Jalen Milroe just was not a consistent passer.
Right.
He was not a fit for Kalen DeBoer's offense. He really wasn't, and Ty Simpson is. And I think that's a big difference.
Another thing people have to look at too is that entire defense was in the first year. Well, both offense and defense were in the first year under the coordinators, and we had a lot of freshmen. Those guys aren't freshmen anymore; they're sophomores. This is year 2 of them, and we do have one of the most elite secondaries in the country. So I think it's going to be maybe more difficult for Vanderbilt to push the ball down the field.
Yeah,
especially if they're not able to protect him. Now, I'm not saying he hasn't been sacked a lot, but with the type of player he is, he's able to be got to in space. And Alabama not having a dominant pass rusher, that plays more so into our hand and being able to, that Kane Womack schemes guys to be able to put pressure on the quarterback. Now, if we had a dominant pass rusher, I would say that's not the case. But since we don't know where our pass pressure is going to be coming, and we know who Pavia is coming in, I think there's going to be I wouldn't say a spy, but there's definitely going to be a lot of attention on him. And there's not going to be as much help in the secondary because the guys don't really necessarily need it like they did last year. And I think they're going to be ready for more of what Vanderbilt offense is going to want to do this season.
Hey, Lucian, is our guy Nick Sheridan still on your guys' staff?
Yeah, he's the quarterback coach.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we just Grubb just came in and took over offensive coordinator duties. Yeah, he's still Sheridan's still on staff. He's actually the one. He's actually the one on the sideline talking to Ty Simpson. Grubb's up in the box.
How much of How much of the better quarterback play this year do you think is just the talent, the difference between styles of quarterback, or from the coaching?
I would say it's a healthy dose of both. I would say the fact that Ty Simpson has been in the system. When I say the system, I mean in college, as
Right.
long as he has been, and he's been through so many different offensive coordinators and has been able to take something from each and put that towards his game, as well as having a seasoned play caller, knowing how to get in and out of certain situations, knowing how to combat defenses and what they're trying to do on a whim. Whereas, Sheridan, it was in his first year, not having a bunch of experience, going against experienced, some of these Hall of Fame defensive coordinators. It's a little bit difficult in your first year. So I would say it's definitely a healthy dose of both coaching and the different player. And Ty Simpson, he's just there for his teammates. And that's something that wasn't necessarily a predominant character trait of our quarterback last year. And I think that Ty Simpson's characteristics of I want my guys to succeed is also a major factor on why he's been able to have the success he's been able to have. So, moving on to this ACC battle for Florida, this battle for the Sunshine State. We got number 3, probably one of the hottest teams in the country. A lot of coaches rank them number 1. Miami is a 4.5-point favorite over number 18 Florida State. Guys, talk to me.
I love Florida State. I love the Gus Malzahn offense. It's unique. It's run heavy. They run a lot of concepts that other teams don't use very often. It seemed, you saw when they played Lucian, but you saw when they played Alabama that if you're not ready to play that kind of game, it can get away from you a little bit. Thomas Castellanos is a dynamic athlete, and he fits in that system great. He's a really good runner, and he can also make the throws when he needs to, when it's schemed up for him. I like Florida State. I think they're I don't like them. I dislike them as a person. But I think they're a good team. I think they're a talented team. I think this is going to be a really good game. Ultimately, though, Miami in the trenches, man. Not just on offense, on defense too. On defense, I think it's what's his name, Ruben Bain.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a game wrecker, just a full-out game wrecker. And it seems like I think Miami has the second best defense in the country right now. And I am just really impressed with what they do up front. And that offensive line too. I mean, Carson Beck could set up a chair and pull out a drink and really chill back there in the pocket because they are protecting for him.
Yep.
So I think Florida State's a very good team, but I just think Miami, the way they've recruited, I think you're seeing that come out in how they play in the trenches. And this is going to be a Mario Crystal Ball special. I think it's going to be a fast game. Both teams are going to run the ball a lot. And I think it's going to limit possessions, but in the end of the day, I think the Canes are back. I think it's the first time in, 24 years or whatever, but I think the Canes are real.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% on board with everything you just said. I think Miami's just stronger, faster. I think FSU's got a lot of grit to them, so it stays close. I think Miami wins, but I think it's a 4-point game. I don't think they cover, and I think I would go with the under. I would say probably 27-23.
So I think this one's going to come down to coaching. I think
look out, Mario.
Exactly. I think that the Florida State coordinators pose a larger threat to the Miami coordinators than vice versa. Gus Malzahn is known for not showing up in games that he should win, a la last weekend. But he is legendary, equally, if not more so, known for being able to pick out what a team does best and eliminate that and make that their weakness. I witnessed it week 1. And I also witnessed what that Florida State atmosphere is able to do to a team. They have the ability to deflate the energy. And on the defensive side, Florida State's defensive coordinator is not your prototypical type of defensive coordinator. The guy is smart. He studies what an offense likes to do. And Carson Beck is not a multi-dimensional guy. And I think Florida State has some dudes that are going to be able to get pressure on some of their – I don't think Miami's been tested yet. Florida State's got a line that's going to pretty much test them. And I think this game's going to be – obviously the powers that be agree with me. I got this decided in a very, very tight one, a very, very tight one. A very, very tight one. I think a field goal in overtime decides this game.
I just want to point out for everyone that Lucian said Miami hasn't been tested yet. So he's saying that Notre Dame was not a test. And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I agree.
Anytime we can throw shade at Notre Dame, I'm all about it.
I mean, I did say in the beginning that everybody hates Notre Dame. So I'm glad you guys picked up on that. That was a very, very subtle jab, not at the Miami, but
I got you though. I got you jabbing at just a little side shot at Notre Dame. It's a little elbow.
It's like Hugh Freeze. Anytime I can take a shot to give a little elbow to somebody that gets caught calling hookers on his college work phone, I will take that shot at them because that's the type of guy that I am.
That's how I feel about Brian Kelly. So I'm with you.
Hey, equally agree. Some guys just deserve to be dug at literally every point.
Yeah.
Because they're just terrible and awful.
Because they're bad people. There are a lot of – I like to say college football is a sport of big games and small men. But we got some petty small men in this coaching in this sport for sure.
Oh, before we get into our last game, I want to know who throws their quarterback under first. Is it Hugh Freeze or Kelly in today's press conference? Who's first?
Ooh. That's good. I don't know. That's hard. It's let's see, LSU. Who do they have again?
Nussmeier.
No. I know the quarterback. I meant who do they play today?
Oh. Actually, I don't know.
LSU.
That was not one that I looked up.
Let's see. They don't play today.
Oh,
yeah, they're on a bye.
On bye. So I guess and so it's free. So it's the next time they're up. Yeah, Hugh Freeze is in trouble. I feel like he's getting fired really soon, whereas Brian Kelly, I don't think is getting fired yet. So I feel like Hugh Freeze will be the first one to throw.
He keeps taking losses in the SEC.
Okay, but the question is, with the 3 QB system, which QB gets thrown under the bus first?
Ooh, even better. It's the backup's fault for some reason. I don't know why, but
which one though?
The backup's fault. And that's the question: is it A or B? It's whichever one he decides to put a letter on.
I mean, I think that's really the real reason for this offensive setup is so that you have 3 times the number of scapegoats.
Exactly. It's never his fault. But moving right along into our last game, we'll get you guys out of here because it's Saturday. I know everybody's got to get ready for football, but this one's going to be an interesting fight. 4-1 Mississippi State at number 6. Texas A&M Aggies are now a 16.5-point favorite. Fellas, quickly, what do you got?
I'll keep it real simple. I think this is a blowout by Texas A&M. I don't think it's even a question. I think A&M wins by 3 touchdowns or more.
Yeah, I'm with Eric. I just think that Mississippi State has improved a lot. I think they have a good coach. I think he's doing a good job, but they are still rebuilding. And I just don't think they have the depth and talent to make this a game. So yeah, I'm with you. I think Texas A&M rolls here, by somewhere between 20 and 30 points. But I do think Mississippi State is better, and I do think they're going to win. They're going to win a couple more games and make a bowl game this year.
Yeah, Texas A&M's got one of the best defenses. I think they have one of the best linebackers in the country, if not the best linebacker. That kid is absolutely amazing. And I think their offense is just playing at a level right now. They can run the football. And when Texas A&M can run the football at an effective rate, that offense just goes. So, yeah, give me Texas A&M, big at home, 42, Mississippi State, 21. Yeah, 42-21.
All right.
Yeah, and that's the last game we got. Fellas, we got any final thoughts before we get everybody out of here?
I really don't like Ohio State. I just don't. And it just
I agree with you.
me. So if we could play better than I expect, that would be great.
I'm rooting for you.
Appreciate that.
Now let me ask you a quick question. Mike. Is your guys' offense not better than Ohio University's?
I mean, I think we're better than Ohio University, yeah.
So anything's possible. They were in a gunfight with them
and the defense is better.
Games.
Yeah, and the defense is certainly better.
Can Coy Parrish get more than one interception on Julian Sand?
I don't know, man. I'll tell you what. Coy played better last week against Rutgers, but I think he was reading his own press clippings a little bit. He was not great the first few games.
Yeah.
He especially against Cal, he literally played the worst game I think I've ever seen a single defensive back play in a long time. So he's bouncing back, but he had a little bit of a sophomore slump. So this will be a good game for him to show up and show he can ball out against, amazing athletes.
Right.
So I want to see Coy. I want to see Coy make some plays today for sure, and he'll have his chances because Ohio State's going to throw the ball.
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as final thoughts, I just I want to see Sharon come in today for Michigan and continue what Biff Poggi and Chip Lindsey have been doing the last two games. Just let Bryce play. Just let him play, man. If it's all right, I will be doing a watch along for the Michigan-Wisconsin game over on Kinetic 615 on YouTube. So come over and hang out if you guys are bored.
Oh, I for sure will. I'll come. That's a 2:30 game.
No, it's a noon game. It's
the noon game. So that's the early game. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have that one on my TV anyway.
Yep.
So
I'll be going live over there, and you guys are welcome to come on if you want to as well, and just hang out and watch the game.
All right.
So
sounds good.
Oh yeah, man. All right. Guys, that does it for us. Thanks to everybody that came out. Yeah, college football Saturday. Big games. Stay tuned. Next weekend, we'll have our reactions as usual. Then we'll go through what we got going on next weekend. I know there's some big games on the docket. These playoffs are about to start forming with these different conference games taking place. So we're going to end this show with the two words or the phrase from every one of our teams. It's Roll Tide from me.
Sky-U-Ma, row the boat.
See you next week, guys.